Hey everyone, you are tuning into the AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for the Golden Globe special. We have so much to talk about from Sunday night's show, so make sure you stay tuned. You don't want to miss it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for The Voice. Ooh, not The Voice. Sorry, I thought about The Voice because I was listening to this amazing song. Her voice is awesome. For the Golden Globes. We have so much to talk about tonight. This song is the Golden Globe winning song for Best Original Song in a movie, so we'll definitely chat about it. I am your host. My name is Dani Golub. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dani Golub. Co-hosts, where can they find you?
Go for it.
Oh, hey everyone, I'm Lauren Pacheco. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lauren T. Pacheco.
And I'm Liza Rubin. You can find me on Instagram at liza.rubin.
I really love this song. I could listen to this song all day, and I pretty much have been. There is truly just so much to talk about from Sunday night's show. I think it's probably one of the most unique award shows I've ever watched. I feel like I watch them every single year, and it was kind of nice to see something that was just different this time, for a good cause, for that matter. All the women and men, for the most part, wore black. We are wearing black as well tonight to stand in solidarity with the Time's Up movement, because it is very important. We will talk all about it, that and fashion and Seth Meyers and literally everything tonight. Let's start with fashion, because why not? A lot of people, aren't necessarily talking about the fashion. I know that was a little bit of why they did the all black, but come on, we can't still not talk about it at all, right? Because they looked amazing.
That's the biggest thing, though, is a lot of people with what they wear, that makes a statement in itself, and I think this was the biggest kind of platform to do that.
Oh,
so.
we had a small.
We had a malfunction over here.
I only have a one lightning bolt now, so
it's okay. Listen, she's expressing herself through her one lightning bolt.
She has so many feelings that lightning literally just struck in our.
The weather outside.
Rain in California does crazy things to people. So we are having a day. Anyway, let's talk fashion. So we're only going to do best dress for the purposes of this movement. I don't think anybody looked bad, honestly. You really can't go wrong in a black dress. I feel like the amount of risk-taking that you can do is a little bit more limited, but it was for the best, because I think everyone looked incredible. This is one of my best dressed picks. Best dressed picks. That is a tongue twister. Nicole Kidman. She always takes fashion risks and always looks incredible, and I loved this. I lived for this dress. It was a big night for her. She won an award. Her show literally sweeped. It won in every category, and she and Keith Urban are my ultimate couple goals. I want to be them, and I want to look just like this in this dress. What do you guys think of this one?
I love Nicole's style. I personally love it. I know she gets a lot of
she does.
That she does wear. I think it's so her. It's so her own. She doesn't really care what anyone else thinks, and she's not afraid to be different. That being said, with a black dress, like you said, it's kind of hard to not take a classic approach with it, but I love that she kind of went for it with this. So, yeah. Nicole, A+, my friend.
We loved it.
Yes.
And who was one of your top picks?
I did Dakota Johnson.
I
loved her dress.
I did as well. She was wearing Gucci, and it was really pretty in the back as well. It had a really amazing bedazzled train situation. Mm-hmm. Hers was really, really gorgeous. I just think that the way that people took black and made it their own in different ways was really cool. People did black with embellishments. Kelly Clarkson had the gold sleeve,
right? Mm-hmm.
And then Saoirse Ronan, who we have up right now, had the silver cap and the silver dash, who was also one of my best dressed. I think she looked awesome, and it was another big night for her. She was wearing Versace. Saoirse always looks awesome, and I just absolutely love her. She is so cool.
If I could pick a celebrity best friend, I think it'd be Saoirse Ronan.
Would it? And then Liza, so cool. This was one of your best dress.
This was one of my best dress. I saw her on the carpet. It was so simple, yet just so cool, and she looked absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it, but she had on this makeup, and it was this really beautiful rose gold color on her eyes, and it was just, I don't know, I think it just went together flawlessly. She looked literally $1 million. Obviously, she the celebrity she is.
I mean, those diamonds.
Yeah, obviously the draped diamonds. It gave this dress a little bit more of, a little bit more oomph. She had the statement jewelry with her. I don't know. I thought she went classic, but I loved it.
Her and her husband too were like coordinating, which was super cute.
Oh, that
they were
is
both
cute.
wearing like the velvet velour or whatever, and he said it like in an interview. He was like, "We're coordinating," so he's like super excited.
Like
it was cute.
That is cute.
Prom.
Allie Bailey in the chat says she loved Eva Longoria's, so shout out to Allie. Thank you for tuning in with us. Yeah, there were some other really amazing looks. I think we have Reese Witherspoon's up here too somewhere. Reese looked amazing, and again, I felt like we were joking about this earlier, but I feel like it was Reese's like birthday party. Reese literally owned the night. Like, she was really one of the forefront people in the Time's Up movement. That, along with like her show just sweeping, and I just felt like she was living her best life. And like, this dress could not have done anything better for her either. It was like so beautiful on her figure and like structured at the top. I loved the entire thing. She looked awesome.
And it was just such a different vibe on the carpet. Not only inside, but on the carpet. It's crazy because I was sitting in the truck and we were trying
meanwhile, Liza was there. We have to like rephrase that every time. She works for E, so she was there and got to actually see these people in person.
So we were sitting in the truck and we just had to remake all these new lower thirds and nameplates for people that were walking up, because so many people not only brought social activists
which was
for the
amazing.
Time's Up movement, but they also brought their celebrity best friends. So Reese came with Eva Longoria. There was a couple others
They
that
brought their
came
girl
together, and it was
squads.
just
Yeah,
like
that was cool.
everyone was rallying up. They walked up together, and there was a moment on the carpet which was amazing. It was, I believe, who was it? America Ferrera and a couple others. And Natalie Portman too. And they clumped together, and Mariah was on the carpet, Mariah Carey, and she was like, "No, come here. And they all just got together, this huge girl squad.
It was amazing.
It was just so cool and so unifying. I loved it.
It was really cool to see. Speaking of the carpet, I feel like we have to touch a little bit on Eva Longoria and Debra Messing, who both brought attention to the Time's Up movement. I think we have a video of Debra Messing. They both brought to the attention that Kat Sadler had left E, and she left because of a pay disparity between her and her male counterpart. If you want to just check this out as well, I'll kind of go over what she's saying at the same time. But yeah, basically, they want Kat back, and they want Kat back with equal pay, and I think that they're not alone in feeling that. Let's see if we can hear what she says.
And we want diversity, we want intersectional gender parity, we want equal pay. And I mean, you know, I was so shocked to hear that E doesn't believe in paying their female co-hosts the same as their male co-hosts. I mean, I miss Kat Sadler.
So, yeah, that's...
And so we stand with her, and that's something that can change tomorrow. You know, we want people to start having this conversation that women are just as valuable as men.
Right.
Well,
And
yeah,
I
absolutely.
think
And
what is so important about what both Debra Messing and Eva Longoria pretty much said the same thing is, it's not just Kat. Like, this is in every industry across the board, and that's what's so important. I think that, like, Kat, they can use her as an example, and I think it's really neat that they're using, like, a host. I feel like so often at award shows and stuff, the hosts kind of just get swept up in the mix, and you don't really think that the celebrities care about them and, like, remember them in the way that they do. And, like, they kind of come out there and it's really all about them, and the hosts usually do a really good job at that. But it was really nice to see them, like, rallying around her and being there for her. What do you think, Lauren?
I totally agree. I thought it was crazy though that they mentioned it on E.
Yeah,
I was just
I do
like,
too.
wow, that they're being interviewed by E correspondents, and then they're kind of like not slamming, but like bringing it up on their channel. And what is E supposed to do? They're live, so they just
And you know what? And I think Juliana and Ryan did the best that they could in that situation, given that, like, it's also their jobs and their livelihood, and they're not trying to, you know, risk that by any means. But I think it's an important conversation for across the board, and I think that what Debra and Eva were doing on the carpet was giving a voice to people who don't have a voice. Like, Kat didn't have a voice in that moment because she wasn't there. And so many people across literally every industry don't feel like they have a voice. And so that was their opportunity to do that. Another woman that brought this movement up in a big way was Natalie Portman during the actual award show for the Best Director category, if we want to just roll this one.
To be here to present the award for Best Director.
And here are the all-male nominees.
So if you notice, like, everybody laughs, but Natalie Portman does not.
No.
She goes, like, this isn't a joke. She kept her straight face and was like, that is a fact.
I mean, it's a serious issue. A lot of people were disappointed that Greta Gerwig wasn't nominated, and Lady Bird took home multiple awards last night. Well, not last night, but that night. I mean, it's true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What were you saying earlier, that someone hasn't gotten that award?
Yeah, so no one has won no woman has won the Best Director category since Barbara Streisand, which was like in the 70s or 80s, which is like, what, 30, 40 years ago at this point. I was just thinking about all the female directors like Ava DuVernay, and like Greta Gerwig this year, her movie won Best Comedy, Best Screenplay, and it had the Best Actress. Like, how is that not worthy of at least a nomination for Best Director? Because I actually do think Guillermo del Toro did deserve it for Shape of Water, but I don't think that she shouldn't have been nominated. And the same issue came up again for BAFTAs, which were, the nominations were released this morning, and all 5, again, are men, and that's in England, and this is thus a global issue. It's not just here, it's literally everywhere.
Right.
And so more on, like, the actual show. So what did we think of Seth Meyers as a host? I know, like, when he got up there, he, started the night with, like, good evening, ladies and remaining gentlemen, which I thought was, he set the tone, and I think he did the best that he could, but I also think, like, all of us at AfterBuzz could agree it would have been nice to have a woman hosting.
I definitely agree, considering the tone of the industry. I mean, you're right, he did the best that he could, he was funny, and I think with whatever comedian you get, you're gonna have some jokes are like, ooh, should he really have said
there was
that?
Right. There was one cringy.
There was
like a couple that
what
were...
was the cringiest was the his Harvey Weinstein joke.
Right.
Yeah, is that appropriate?
I mean, but the reality is that the fact that people, okay, so the joke was, the next time Harvey Weinstein's here, people are gonna be he'll be the first person booed in the in memory section. But everyone was like, ooh. But I was really like, why are we still feeling bad for him? Like, I had that moment of, like, this guy, it has been confirmed by multiple people that he is a rapist. Like, why are we still being like, ooh, like, cringe, I shouldn't be saying these negative things about him. Like, he's not here, he shouldn't be here. I don't know. Part of me was, like, looking around this audience of men being like, not all you are innocent. Like, you're innocent until proven guilty, but I don't believe for one second that there weren't men in that room that were guilty of similar things, so...
Mm-hmm. Well, and when you hire Seth as the host, you know that he's going to push the boundaries, and that's just what's going to happen. Like, so when people are shocked by what he said, it's like, oh, come on. Like, he's going to say stuff like this, especially with what's going on.
Right. I just, at a certain point, it's like, it's not funny anymore, kind of.
Right.
And, I know I've definitely still experienced comments, honestly, like, I've experienced a ton of comments where people are just, like, kind of making jokes about the whole movement and, oh, too soon. Like, no, it's not too soon. In fact,
now.
Time's up.
Yeah, literally, time's up. Rose Bud in the comments agrees. She goes, absolutely, where are the women? Thank you, Rose. I agree. There's just, like, it would have been amazing if they could have gotten, like, Amy and Tina back for this year or something, because they hosted it 3 times, and I really don't think the Globes have been the same since they left, in my personal opinion, but also I think they would have just been so on brand for the evening, especially with the shows that won. Like, Handmaid's Tale won, Big Little Lies won. These shows are shows that were on brand with the evening. Why not have a host? And, like, Seth really did the best he could with what he was given. It was a very delicate evening with very sensitive information and, like, very sensitive jokes, and everyone was like, he was under such a microscope, you know what I mean? Like, he had to perform in the way that he did, and he made jokes that were really funny, and he, like, honestly, I felt like he wasn't on the stage that much.
He wasn't. I feel like like, besides the beginning, he wasn't really there much.
Yeah, he wasn't there that much. But I guess, like, there really wasn't.
I mean, he's in a tough position.
He was.
When he was chosen to be the host, I'm sure he wasn't imagining what the vibe would be.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think he dealt with what he could. At the end of the day, he's a comedian, not to make light of any subject, but I think he was also there to do his job and kind of give everyone a night where they could kind of laugh a little.
Yeah, I think that he did a good job with, like, the balancing the comedic and the seriousness of the night. But yeah, it was challenging. I mean, so much of the night was, like, so many serious things, like Elisabeth Moss in her acceptance speech for Best Actress in Drama Series was, like, quoting Margaret Atwood. Like, it was pretty heavy and pretty serious. And, so many of the the winners spoke about the movement, especially the female winners, as they do. And there was some backlash on the male winners not necessarily bringing it up in the same way that the female winners did. I think this is like a little bit of Seth's opening right now, but yeah, I mean, he looked dapper as ever. And what I thought was interesting is he was on the red carpet, and they made a comment. They're like, well, you're here, so you must not be that nervous, because I feel like hosts in the past, they said, had been like backstage and didn't walk carpet. So he, was out there with his wife, and his wife was wearing black, and so it was nice that he was out there to at least like be a part of it all, you know? I felt like he kind of had to see it. The carpet was like the Women's March on steroids, you know what I mean? Like all these women in black, and like people who probably have never even met together, but like posing for photos together, like wrapping their arms around each other. And I was talking about it yesterday, but I just feel like I hope that this like doesn't end. I hope this carries through all of award season. And I know the SAG Awards has all female presenters, and Kristen Bell is going to be hosting that one, so I hope that the tone of this award season remains the same.
Right. I'm just really curious to see if this black dress trend is going to continue. Are people still, going to be protesting with, what they're wearing?
Right.
I don't think that will continue through all of award season, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like this
wear
was
like the pins.
The pins,
something.
yeah, they may remain. Because I remember last year a lot of people were wearing like the Planned Parenthood pins. Yeah, here's a photo. We have just like, it's such like diverse. I don't even think that these people have all necessarily worked together before, and it's like so nice to see them all just like together. And I feel like so many times in Hollywood women are pitted against each other. It was really amazing to see them like banding together.
Right. It's like women
uniting.
helping women, and we shouldn't be, talking about each other behind our backs. Like, when it comes to it, we're there for each other, and that's it.
Right, and Sky Patterson in the comments said Guillermo del Toro winning Best Director was 25 years in the making. Like, I totally agree with you. I said Guillermo deserved it. I just think that Greta Gerwig should have been nominated.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not taking away from Guillermo's success, because I really do think that movie was very well deserving.
Right.
And he is a spectacular director, and, like, it was a very Guillermo film. I just think that, we could see some diversity in the nomination.
Listen, talent is talent.
Exactly, no matter what your gender is.
Women also have talent, too.
Exactly.
So.
The only thing that I felt bad about, though, is that all of those directors, it's not necessarily their fault. Like,
no,
what
it's
can
not.
they do about it? And it kind of, like, put their category down and, like, the winner down. Like, his face when they showed him on camera, he was just kind of like, what is he supposed to do? What am I supposed to do?
That's exactly how I felt about Ryan and Juliana on the carpet, though. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
what are they supposed to do? Ryan was like, yeah, we love Kat. Like, of course he does. He worked with her for years. They're friends. Like, it's not, he wasn't the one deciding how much she was making.
Exactly.
So it's a very, like I said, a delicate evening. But again, the show had to go on. Let's talk about some of the awards, some of the big winners. There were some upsets. There were some, which ones were you excited about? So let's kind of separate into TV and movies. Let's do TV first, because the Golden Globes are my favorite because you get both. So, and everyone's like drinking and eating and having fun, and like tons of Moët flowing. So, starting with TV, Best Television Comedy Series. This was, like, the most surprising for me of the evening, The Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah, I was surprised, too.
It beat out, like, Blackish, Master of None, Will and Grace, like, all these shows you hear people talking about all the time.
Right.
Marvelous Miss Maisel is an Amazon show. I've never watched it. TBH, never heard of it. And I, watch everything on TV. Haven't heard of this one. That was probably my biggest upset of the night, just because I thought, like, Blackish would get a nod, or, like, Master of None. Master of None has, like, Aziz won in a different category, so I thought maybe it would win.
See, I was actually the opposite. I've heard so many good things about The Marvelous Miss Maisel that I wasn't too surprised. I feel like, I don't know, it's progressive, it's really cool, the plotline's amazing, and, female lead.
Yeah, I'll take it. And I love that hat that this girl was wearing.
Oh, yes.
Big on the hat. All about a good top hat.
Yes, definitely. What do you think, Lauren?
Yeah, I was surprised. I've actually never seen it. I heard of it, like, one time, so I was pretty surprised. Amy Sherman-Palladino, though, I love, so I'm like, now I kind of want to watch it, because I feel like it's going to be a good show.
Just have to buy Amazon Prime.
Yeah, exactly.
Or use my dad's.
How many subscriptions do I have to get?
You can use my dad's.
Thanks, Kenny.
Go in the comments if you need my dad's password. Anyway, best performance by an actor in a television comedy series, we have Aziz Ansari then for Master of None. And I was really glad he won this one, because at the Emmys, they, like, completely cut him off in his speech because he let his writing partner, Alan, do some talking, which I thought was great, and then they completely cut Aziz off, and he didn't like get to thank anybody, so it was nice, like, he got to kind of have his moment for this role. I've watched this show a few times. Also, he was on my best dressed list too. Love a velour suit on a man.
Me too.
You were saying that Viola Davis's husband wore it as well.
Yes.
It looks amazing on him, and Aziz is, like, looking dapper these days. I was really glad he won for this show. This show is, like, his baby, and, like, his parents are in it, his real parents, which is so nice. I thought that this was, like, a good moment for him. I have all the winners up. There's, like, so many.
The same sort of thing happened to Sterling K. Brown, too, so that was good.
Yes.
That he finally got
He
to
got to
make
thank
his
his wife.
speech. Yeah.
Well, he was also the first African-American male in that category. So
Let's talk about him. Why not? We're doing TV. So, Best Actor in a Television Series Drama. His speech, he definitely did. I think that he did a good job. He was probably the only man of the evening that used, I felt like, the platform to talk about a cause. He thanked Dan Fogelman, the creator, for creating a role for a black man. Not a role that a black man or a white man can play, but a role that only a black man could have played. And I don't know if you guys all watch this show. This show is amazing. It's like the best show on broadcast television right now. And he is my favorite in the show and, like, totally carries it and totally deserved this award. I mean, he beat out, like, Jason Bateman and Liev Schreiber and, like, these huge names, and I was really, really excited to see another man in a velour suit win an award.
Well, what's crazy is I think it was for Emmys, we were doing a package on Sterling, and we were looking at some of his old roles, and he was saying that the creator of the show that you were saying created the role for an African-American man, and his previous roles had just been kind of more stereotypical. And he was just so honored that he was given this platform. And it's so true. Like, if you've watched This Is Us, then you would know, but he's just amazing in that role, and it suits him so well, and what a great platform for him.
He just seems like an amazing man. He told a story on the red carpet of, like, delivering his baby in his bedroom with his wife. And it was just, I'm just like, what can you not do? Like, you deliver babies too, okay?
God. Part-time surgeon.
Yeah.
He's, like, the coolest dude ever. And I met him.
Cool.
I met him when I was working at NBC, and, like, he is so nice. Like, he literally sat and, like, talked to me, like, who the hell am I? Like, literally, I was like, I love your show. It's so good. He's like, thank you. And, like, looked me in the eyes. I was, like, gonna cry. He is the nicest guy. Like, and for all the success that he's had this year, like, props to him. He is very well deserving. We can't talk about the TV series without talking about Handmaid's Tale. So it beat out Game of Thrones in Best Television Series for Drama, and that was, like, not necessarily, like, the biggest upset, but it was definitely surprising because Game of Thrones has never won in this category, and they didn't get to be involved in the Emmys because they weren't eligible, and so people were kind of surprised that they didn't win for Best Drama. But I, for one, was very excited to see Handmaid's Tale win this one. I watched the show like this because it was so hard to watch, but it was so important. And I think, again, with this evening being the way that it was, this show was so important. And in his speech, he's like, thank you to all these women on this stage and in this room for making sure that The Handmaid's Tale never happens. Because Margaret Atwood's book was written in the 80s, and the fact that this book is just, like, a classic and it's still so relevant today is haunting, to say the least.
It's crazy. It's crazy how relevant this show is and what we're experiencing now. So it was kind of a perfect win, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, I think Game of Thrones easily could have won, but, like, let's let Game of Thrones win it next year. I think Handmaid's Tale needed to take it at this specific event on this night with this tone. Speaking of which, Best Actress in a TV series drama went to Elisabeth Moss for her role of June, or Offred in Handmaid's Tale. Here she is. Also, she looks so cute. She was giving me her, like, Mad Men vibes in this dress.
Oh, I love Mad Men.
I know, but, like, I feel like this, like, is what her character would wear if she had
Peggy.
if she had
All
went
the way.
to the Golden Globes. But yeah, so she won for this role, which, like, again, if you've watched the show, she is, like, truly spectacular and, like, really carries the show in a big way. So I was really excited to see her win. I mean, again, she beat out, like, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Claire Foy, like, for The Crown, and, like, all these shows that are just also important and insanely popular right now. But I think it was very fitting that she won. Sky Patterson says he might watch The Handmaid's Tale. You should.
Oh, you must.
Sky, you
You
must. If you got your access to Hulu, check it out.
Something else is this is a big night for streaming services.
It was.
You had Amazon Prime, and now you have Hulu. It's just crazy.
Yeah, Maisel, Marvelous Miss Maisel, she won Rachel Brosnahan, whose name I'm working on. She won for Best Actress in a TV musical or comedy. But we cannot, again, talk about TV without talking about Big Little Lies. So speaking of premium cable / streaming services, HBO definitely didn't lose, even though they didn't win for Game of Thrones. They won every category they were nominated in for Big Little Lies. In a nice sweep. So they won. Nicole Kidman won for Best Actress in a limited. So it's interesting. She was not supporting. She was actress. So her and Reese.
They were competing. They were
competing
against each other.
So I'm just like, so I've watched this show. I'm just like trying to figure out. So they're the two leads, and then everyone else is supporting. But it's kind of confusing because I kind of feel like everyone's the lead. Like I would be surprised that Shailene Woodley.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there was
wasn't a
multiple
lead.
layers.
I feel like Shailene could have been on the same level as those two in terms of lead. But oh, look at that dress.
And her
It looks really
acceptance
good on
speech.
stage.
Was
her
amazing.
speech. Her
To
and
Keith Urban.
Like,
Okay, did no one else see?
goals.
I cried.
Well, when she got up so fast and she was trying to kiss Keith and they just like, their lips just didn't match up together and like, I don't know if she was like trying to like relieve herself of last time when she kissed Alexander Skarsgård first
Right.
or whatever happened, but
like making
it was
out
just
with him.
so funny. But then obviously she goes to dedicate, the end of her speech to him. And it was
Right.
really
It's like when
sweet.
my
That
cheek
was
is
so
on
nice.
when my cheek is on your cheek and the whole world melts away or something.
It's
I'm like,
so sweet.
it's like I guess I know where he gets like his poetic music from. She
Right.
probably says these like really beautiful things to him.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, that'll be a
exactly.
song.
and she like thanked her kids. Like
Yeah.
she's literally looking
It was
right
a
at
perfect
him.
speech.
Oh, I cannot. They are so
Yeah.
cute.
She's just stunning as a person.
She really is. And like I've always loved her. Like I loved her in Lion. I've loved her in all of her pieces of work, but I fell in love with her in Big Little Lies. This show, I watched it like all last week, so it's really fresh in my mind, is so damn good.
It's so good.
It is so good. And again, so important. Like her character faced so much like physical and emotional abuse that I think it was so important for that to be brought to the forefront, and she was able to like seek out therapy, get help. Like those are such important things, and she was in a relationship with this person for so long
Right.
that was abusing her. I hope that some people were watching Sunday night and that have watched the show have had some sort of, voice given to them based off this role.
Right. Well, and Alexander Skarsgård also won the Golden Globe.
Yep, he did.
In his
for
character.
Best
for this role.
supporting actor for this role. Yeah, for
Are they doing a season 2?
They are.
They
Yes.
are?
And they didn't really talk much about it. On the
so
red
exciting.
carpet, Laura Dern did say, she's like, I'll be Renata again. That's all I could say. And Reese and I never will get along or something.
Alexander Skarsgård on the red carpet also said, "Am I actually dead too?" or something weird like that. And then I was like,
I bet you he'll still be in the show, like, flashback-wise, because the show does so
Oh,
much of
right.
those flashbacks, especially with Shailene, and I feel like we'll get more of that from, like, Jane's character now that we know who he is.
yeah.
And I think it'll be interesting to see how season 2 plays out, because season 1 was based only on the book. And so to have season 2 kind of do its own thing, I hope they do it justice, because season 1 was so good. I don't want them to ruin it. But yeah, that show is just, and it also won, Laura Dern also won for Best Supporting Actress. She was going up again against Shailene Woodley. To have a show that's nominated in every category with multiple people from the show in every category,
Yeah.
like, there was just, like, wasn't a chance that show wasn't gonna sweep. It won, like, the Best Television Limited Series Motion Picture Made for Television, whatever that mouthful means, aka it's the best. So if you haven't watched it yet, get someone's HBO password yesterday and watch it. It is so good, so important. Also, it won every award, so I think it's worth your time. I don't think it'll be like nominated for much more. I think it kind of like did its Emmys and Globes.
Had a good
Awards
run.
Had a good run. Okay, let's move on to movies, which is also fun. I'm more of a TV person personally, but the movies this year have really been amazing. So
I agree.
I've tried to see a lot of them. I can say I haven't seen all of them yet, but I've definitely seen a lot of them. Let's start at the bottom with, and by bottom I mean still at the top. The Best Animated Feature went to Coco. Liza and I actually saw this together, and this movie, have you seen Coco?
No, I haven't.
Warren,
I'm like so
we'll go
behind.
again with you.
Okay.
I cry. It's so cute.
So cute. It is so good. It was up against, like, honestly, I don't even know what Boss Baby is, or like, there was one, Loving Vincent, which was like a serious.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was
Like
it was like all these like
anime?
it was like very serious film, and then like Ferdinand I guess was good. Whatever. Don't care. Coco was amazing. Love Pixar.
Crazy.
The music
it took
was
them
so
6
good.
years. To
I
make
know,
this.
and,
my
and
gosh.
I learned so much like about Mexican culture that I didn't know about, and like growing up in Southern California, I felt like I had like some understanding. I learned so much more, and it was like done so tastefully, so beautifully, and they got rid of the horrible Frozen short in the beginning, so you don't have to sit through a half an hour of Olaf. You can just go straight into Coco. You must see it. It is so good, and the music is so good. Moving on to best performance actress in a supporting role. In a motion picture, I guess musical or comedy, it went to Allison Janney and I, Tonya. And I love Allison Janney. I, Tonya, like, I have mixed feelings about, just because of the actual true story. I think Nancy Kerrigan needs some justice. That's a story for another day.
And they brought her
they brought Tonya Harding.
Okay.
She was there at their table.
Tonya also tried to walk out on Piers Morgan today. I don't know if you heard breaking news. Breaking live.
Wait, what happened?
You heard it here first, kids. So Piers Morgan said to Tonya Harding, maybe it suits you to play the victim, but I think the victim in all of this wasn't you. It was Nancy Kerrigan, who had her Olympic dreams shattered quite literally in her legs. And so she tried to get up and walk out on the interview, and then he was like, no, whatever. Regardless, Allison Janney did a badass job at playing her mom. Like, literally from the first few minutes of the film when she showed up, I was like, she's gonna kill it. How many women can, like, be on one of the best sitcoms on television, also be on, like, all the best movies on television? Allison Janney is, like, a unicorn.
She was also one of my best dressed.
Yeah, she looks really
She
hot.
looks unreal. She had a bird on her shoulder.
Yeah, what was that?
She had a bird on her shoulder.
It was like a
well, she had a bird in the movie I,
movie.
Tonya. So maybe she was like kind of.
This dress was cool, and it was wearing black. This was one of the ones where it was like wearing black with like some white. It made it different. Oh, and Margot Robbie is so hot. Honestly,
she had the flu too, and she
did
that good.
Oh my God, you should have seen me. I was sick last week, and I did not look like that. You couldn't even gotten me on the stretcher to the Golden Globes if you wanted to. Like, Margot Robbie looks so good.
I mean, would you miss the Golden Globes if you had the flu?
I mean, I did. I was supposed to go.
That was a personal choice.
I was supposed to go for work, and I had strep throat, so I wasn't there. But anyway, if I was nominated, you better believe I was there. You better believe I'd be there. I would have an IV like bag with me,
strolling it. A black IV bag.
They literally have an IV bag, and I'd be like sipping on my Pedialyte. Don't mind me. Okay, so best screenplay for a motion picture went to Martin McDonagh for 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, which I saw this movie as well. This is an absolute must. We can't talk about this whole night without talking about Frances McDormand because she won for best performance in best actress in a motion picture drama for this film as well. She carried this movie. Like, oh my gosh, I have not seen a strong, powerful woman in a film like her in a really long time. Like, the whole 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, how long this long movie was, I was like totally in a trance by her the entire time.
Well, she's just a badass.
She is. She's up here with like limited hair and makeup, wearing her dress. Like, it is not about the glitz and the glam for her. It is about the art. And that is what's so important. That's why she won this award, because she like really deserves it. It's not about anything for her besides like the job she was there to do. Some people had some like flack with her speech, said she was like acting wild and weird, but I was like, I don't really care. I really enjoy her. She was so good.
I just like that she like acknowledged everyone that was on stage.
Oh,
like instead of the person that was just giving her the award, she like gave a hug to like even the girl just standing in the background.
Miss Golden Globe, which is The Rock's daughter.
Oh yeah, okay.
Shout out to
Simone.
her. Simone Johnson. Someone else in the comments, Y'all Wayne agrees with me. Nancy, just hashtag justice for Nancy Kerrigan. Thank you. Agreed. I'm ready for Nancy. Coming soon to a theater near you.
Me Nancy.
Me Nancy. No, it's gonna be called Why.
Ow.
Too soon. No, so I like found when I was sick in bed last week, I like was Googling all the real footage of Nancy Kerrigan screeching on the floor. Poor thing. She was like, somebody help me. Like, why me? Why? I was like,
it's actually pretty insane.
A random stranger just comes into her private gym and smashes her with a crowbar. That's 2 minutes of this movie. That's like 2 hours. I'm like, can we rewind to that?
Right.
Anyway, I think it was a little weird that Tonya Harding was there. Margot Robbie was nominated for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy for that, and I think that Margot Robbie was great at that role. But I do think that Saoirse Ronan deserved the win for Lady Bird. If you have not seen any movies this year, if you don't see anything this entire year, do yourself a favor and go see Lady Bird if you want to smile. Like, it is the most feel-good, coming-of-age, happy, like, everyone can relate to one part of it or another film. I absolutely loved it. Like, probably my favorite movie in a few years.
I need to see it still.
I need to
That's
see
the
it
one
too.
I'm
Oh my gosh.
I went to an all-girls Catholic high school,
Oh,
so I'm
you
like,
will.
I need to go.
Literally love this. It
Really?
is made for you. Like, and it's also a love letter to Northern California, specifically Sacramento. That's where it takes place. Like, you will literally, this is your life.
Is this me?
It is your life.
You are Lady Bird.
Yeah, this is Greta Gerwig.
My family
here.
calls me Bird too, so this
and,
is weird.
and you're a lady.
And you're like,
thank
she
you.
names herself Lady Bird in the movie. They're like, "What's your name?" Her name is Christine, but she goes, "Is Lady Bird your God-given name?" She goes, "Yeah, God-given by me."
Given to me by me.
Yeah, I love her.
I love that.
She is so good. Saoirse also is like another. Everyone that was nominated was like a girl crush. Like Margot Robbie, Gal Gadot was there.
love Gal
like
Gadot.
so many girl crushes in
so
one room. I don't
pretty.
even think I can handle it. Like Reese Witherspoon even like was serving just major vibes last night. Another big award, Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture Drama, went to Gary Oldman in The Darkest Hour, which actually was an upset because a lot of people thought Tom Hanks from The Post was going to win it. Denzel Washington was nominated, Daniel Day-Lewis. That is, I mean, Gary Oldman is amazing, and I still thought it was like kind of an upset for him to win that category. It was interesting because in Seth's opening, he was like, The Post is nominated tonight with Meryl Streep, like Tom Hanks, and then like the girl walks out with all the Golden Globes, and he's like, no, not yet, but it actually didn't end up winning any.
That was crazy.
Crazy.
Like,
Like, how do you
jinxed them.
Yeah, you kind of did jinx them, I think. I think that movie will win more at, like, maybe SAG/Oscar.
Oscars,
Yeah. I think that the Golden Globes are more of like a popular vote, whereas, like, the Academy is, like, very serious and critical and is going to go with, like, a different vibe. I don't think the Globes are a prediction of the Oscars by any means.
Right. I agree.
Maybe besides Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri winning for Best Picture and Emotions, or Best Picture Drama.
Well, then what do you think, which nominations do you think will cross over to the Oscars?
Well, okay, so Best Picture for Drama. The nominations were Call Me By Your Name, Dunkirk, The Post, Shape of Water, and Three Billboards. I could see those being similar. I don't know if I would keep Dunkirk in the top 5.
See, I saw Dunkirk.
But do you think it would be nominated with those other ones? I think that Florida Project will probably get the 5th spot. Oh, actually, in Oscars, I think there's like 10 sometimes nominated, so it might stay.
Gosh, I don't know. Dunkirk was pretty good.
It was.
For someone like me who does not like war movies, that was a good one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Three Billboards won for the Best Picture for Drama for the Golden Globe, and I think it was very well deserved. Again, that film is like an absolute must. We opened with the song that won Best Song, which was This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. We all saw The Greatest Showman. One movie we can all say we saw. Yeah. I actually loved it. I haven't seen this movie took them like 7 years to make. These are the two guys that wrote the entire soundtrack. A movie like this hasn't been made in a really long time. A movie that's an original screenplay that's a musical. Like, it took them a really long time to get this made. Usually this like kind of thing would go to Broadway. It's awesome that it went into theaters and it had like Hugh Jackman. I actually think that Hugh Jackman should have won the category that he lost to James Franco for. So Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, James Franco won for Disaster Artist.
They were saying that his face was
that was
like,
all over
shocked
Twitter.
that he didn't win.
Poor Hugh.
All over Twitter, yeah.
Sang his heart out.
I know.
But I don't hate that James Franco won.
Well, so there was some flack about James Franco. So he was wearing the Time's Up pin, and I will say the most awkward moment of the night, we might see it right here, is when James Franco literally like pushes Tommy out of the way when he like comes to talk in the microphone. That was definitely like cringeworthy a little bit.
Just stiff-armed him.
Just in terms of like awkward moment.
Well, then don't call him up there.
Right,
You know
I know
the
like,
kind of personality
he wanted to talk. Exactly. But there was some backlash on James Franco because there was all this stuff on Twitter, like not saying this is all like alleged, but apparently there was some sexual misconduct that was being spoken about regarding James Franco, and people were upset that he was wearing the pin if he had done X, Y, and Z. And I mean, obviously we don't know if any of it is true. It's all just allegations, but that's what I mean in the sense that like there were men in that room that were in question as well. So I felt like a little bit like some of the jokes that were happening, and I was watching people laugh, and I was like, are you guilty? I mean, I suppose they're all innocent until proven guilty, but like, I don't know. I felt a little bit weird with some of the things that were going on.
Is it worse to like wear the pin or not wear the pin?
No, I feel like
when
everyone
you're him,
had
you know?
to wear the pin.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and again, like it's all just allegations, but like there was a lot of stuff floating around on Twitter on the night of, and some people were, you know, upset and whatnot.
Right.
I that one, or the guy from Get Out. A lot of people were pissed that he didn't win. Battle of the Sexes, which I didn't see, and I need to see. Battle.
I saw that one.
Battle of the Sexes. Was it
we
good?
got one. We got two,
one.
actually.
It was really good, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna see that one before. That one I could also see getting some Oscar nominations as well. But I'm gonna dedicate the last few minutes of this show tonight to the queen of the evening, Oprah Winfrey. I don't think we could even talk about the Globes without talking about her. I wanted to give her special time. Reese Witherspoon introduced her, and I've honestly never seen Reese like nervous. She was nervous. And like for someone like Reese Witherspoon, and look at Stedman, what a guy. Reese was so nervous. It was so sweet. They just worked together on A Wrinkle in Time, so I think they're buddies. But anyway, Oprah gave a speech that was her declaration of presidency, apparently, for 2020, according to Twitter. Everyone was like, Oprah 2020 was like, well, I don't think she'd say no. So I don't know. What did you guys think? Like this, just in her tone, I felt like it was very presidential.
Yeah, I saw a meme on Instagram, and it was a picture of Stedman. Yes. And he was like beaming, and the caption was, "When you realize you're going to be the first lady." And I loved it.
So true.
I mean, I would vote for Oprah. I love Oprah.
Same.
I think everything she stands for is amazing. I think her speech was literally. I think there wasn't a person in America who didn't at least hear about it. You know what I mean? There's a lot to say about a celebrity that has a platform, but I think, you know, her past has really turned her into someone that can fight for injustices that we face today. And coming from someone like her, it means a lot.
It really does.
You have my vote, Oprah.
Yeah, she was definitely the perfect person to receive this award this year and give that speech. That was really good.
Yeah, I mean, it was moving and it was powerful, and some of the things she said, she was like speaking to young women, but she was also just speaking to everyone. And she was like, it's so obvious right now that so many people are just like looking for a positive leader, and she just really stepped up and filled that role.
Right. And I also love that she made sure to include that some men are also a positive influence on this movement. You know what I mean? Like, men are also fighting too. Men have also been victims of sexual harassment as well. So the fact that she involved them was great, I thought.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
I completely agree. There was one thing she said that really stuck with me. For too long, women have not been heard or believed when speaking their truth, but that time is up. And I think that's just like such a encapsulating quote about this entire evening and this entire movement. And like, you know, for all the women that weren't able to speak up, and for all the men that weren't able to speak up, and for all the women that were standing beside each other, and for men that were standing by them too, like I said about some men in this room maybe being guilty and whatnot, like most of them are not. You know what I mean? Like, obviously it's not everyone, but I do think what Oprah brought to the attention was just like, this is just one night. This is the beginning of something that now has to go forward and become a movement. It's like this was getting the ball rolling on something much bigger. Like, this was one evening in the rest of our lives. And like, I think when it comes to like presidency or whatever everyone was talking about, maybe that didn't seem so realistic a few years ago, but now that Donald Trump has come in and done it, who, by the way, has already tweeted that he would beat Oprah in 2020. Yeah, of course he had to get himself involved. But I think
he'd have to also beat Kanye.
Right. Like, we didn't talk about political parties yet. Oh, and Maria Menounos said she wants to run now too. Okay. So she's got my vote over any of them. But regardless, like, Oprah is like just, there's no reason why she can't do it now too. Do you know what I mean? Like, right. I think that like for so long, so many people thought it could only be politicians or whatever. It's like, if she gets a badass politician to run with her as her VP, like, okay, I trust them. You know, I mean, at this point, it's like, if Trump can do it, literally anyone can do it.
Well, I thought it was just a nice way of like saying how good her speech was. It was presidential status, but now it's like a serious thing that people are saying.
Yeah. I mean, maybe she has been planning, who knows, but I don't know, I think it was really special that Oprah spoke and that she gave her words, you know, on this movement. I think solidarity is the reason that we're able to successfully fight this now. Right. You know what I mean? Because, you know, back in the day, one person would speak up and no one would really, you know, band with them. Mm-hmm. So I think obviously there is strength in numbers and, you know, obviously strength in having a celebrity platform, which she used perfectly.
Yeah, and I really hope that this like doesn't end like here. I hope that this kind of goes forward and this gets the ball rolling, and that like this conversation doesn't stop, and this conversation happens in hospitals, on Wall Street, in Washington D.C. Like I want this conversation to happen everywhere, and I want people when they see something to say something and not be afraid if they like have something that in their workplace that isn't making them comfortable. Like do something about it. We're past the point where you can sit idly by. Like, if you see something that's even just mildly questionable, like, we are not in a place, no matter what industry you work in, where that's ever going to be okay again. And she's actually the first Black woman to have ever won this award as well. So she said, it's not lost on me at this moment that some little girl is watching as I become the first Black woman to be given this award this evening. So I think that she really took this opportunity as a privilege, because I feel like some people, when they win a Lifetime Achievement Award, can get up there and, like, you know, feel humbled, but, you know, not necessarily like seize the moment. She seized her moment, and this was like over 9 minutes, her speech. And I know she, like, I'm sure had a lot of it planned, but I just feel like it was all really truly coming from the heart, you know? I feel like as many of the speeches were last night, and as many of the moments on the carpet, and just really everything were. So this was, again, like a really unique award show. I'm curious because, you know, award season technically starts like with the Emmys back in September, but this really is like the beginning of like proper award season.
Kicks it off.
It does. And I wonder how the rest of award season is going to play out now, through March, through the Oscars. We have like 3 more months of this, you know, like is this going to be the tone the entire way through? I know it will be at SAG, but like I wonder what the Grammys are going to be like. Is the music community going to do something? Because that's the biggest night in that world. So I wonder what it's going to be like, because this is obviously an issue there too, like Kesha and Taylor Swift and all these musicians that have had issues with sexual assault as well. So it'll be really interesting to see how the rest of the award show goes. I, for one, am excited to cover it and excited to see what happens. I also am excited to, like, keep this conversation going, because I think the more that we're all talking about it, the better. Like, the more people that are, you know, exposed to this conversation, the more, like, families that watch this at home that where an open dialogue is brought up, the better, because you never know. And, yeah, I mean, like, in the comments I'm seeing some stuff about, like, this happens in, you know, all different communities. It happens across like the gay community as well. It happens across all, it's intersectional, you know what I mean? And I think Oprah's a really good representation of that. She's an African-American woman. Like, there's intersectionality in every issue. And so I think that, like, everyone coming together, men, women of all different races, genders, sexual orientations in this room was just like a small community of people that I hope will expand across the entire world, because we really need it right now, to say the very least. We got a lot of Oprah 2020s in the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Oprah Winfrey for president in 2020 would be amazing. Oh, some people are saying they want Michelle Obama.
I would love that.
A Michelle and Oprah ticket?
That would be amazing.
Woo! Give me some of that, for real. Well, I feel like that is all we have. I mean, we could literally talk about this all night, because there's just so much. We can go on and on and on about this evening. But let's wrap up. And if anyone has any, you know, further comments or wants to continue this conversation with you on social media, where can they do that?
You can find me at Lauren T. Pacheco.
And you can find me on Instagram at Liza.Rubin.
And you can find me everywhere at Dani Golub. Please let us know in the comments below what you thought. Tweet at us if you have any, you know, thoughts and questions. And we will be back to cover all the award shows and live events this season, so don't miss it. We are here on AfterBuzz all the time. See you guys next time.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.